If you're a fan of YouTube boxing, then you probably know what the PBA is. But if you don't, PBA stands for Professional Boxing Association. And they've put on and commissioned for some of the biggest YouTube boxing events, such as Showstar, Kingpin, and both Misfits events. And from the naked eye, yeah, they just seem like a normal boxing association. They have a good name for themselves, but I beg to differ. I feel like they're very biased and hypocritical. If anyone from the PBA has watched, I don't want them to take any offense from this. It's literally just me sharing my opinion. I'd consider myself a boxing fan, but when it comes to knowing all the rules and everything, I don't. But I'm just speaking from my point of view and how I think that they could do better as a company, as I'm not the first person to speak about this. I may be the first person to make a full video like this on them, but since they have come into the crossover boxing world, there have been many complaints. But yeah, let's begin. Let's go back to March early this year at the Showstar boxing event, Deji vs Wasabi. This was the first event that the PBA actually commissioned, and let me just tell you all how I saw things. Let's talk about Ryan Taylor versus DK Money, which was a fight that happened on this event. Unless you've been living under Jeffrey Dahmer's bed for a couple of years and you don't know what happened in this fight, Ryan Taylor headbutted the Donny in the face. After that, DK Money couldn't carry on and he just dropped to the floor. And this was the first thing that made me think about how genuine the PBA actually were. Because don't get me wrong, they are genuine. They put on professional fights. But what I was thinking is that because it was crossover boxing, that they weren't actually doing this properly. Right here, I've got the Professional Boxing Association rules of boxing. And when speaking about intentional fouls, they say if a fighter is guilty of an intentional foul, points could be deducted from boxer's scorecard and the referee may, at his discretion, disqualify the boxer from the match. And they didn't actually specify what happens after that, so I went to Google and 99.9999% of the answers were the same. They literally just said this: win by disqualification. If a boxer is disqualified for any reason, the opponent will automatically be declared the winner. Alright, if that's the case, then why was Ryan Taylor immediately taken out of the ring? No winner was declared. DK Money was also sent out of the ring. And why didn't Showstar announce that DK Money actually won until about 3 days after? In all fairness, this thing doesn't happen in everyday boxing. I'm sure this might have been the referee's first time seeing this. Maybe they were just confused. Maybe the whole commission really didn't know what to do. I mean, from DK Money's point of view, I mean, it is a bit annoying. You've trained, you've got headbutted, you obviously can't continue, and you don't even get announced the winner like you're supposed to. But you know what, we'll give it to them. But now let's talk about King Kenny versus FaZe Temper, a fight that happened on that same event later in the night, a fight where FaZe Temper convincingly beat King Kenny. But no, the PBA, and not just the PBA, I've actually got names for this one. These people are the guys that normally do all the PBA scoring: Jack Goodwin and Seamus Dunn. You've probably heard these names before the fights actually happened when the ref reads them out. But yeah, but they decided that King Kenny actually beat FaZe Temper, and this situation makes the P for professional and PBA very, very, very unfitting, because again, this change was only overturned a couple days later, not only misleading the fans, FaZe Temper, but also King Kenny, because at the end of the day, if your ego's on the line and you've been told you're going to win a fight, you're going to back it up. You're not going to want to admit that you've just lost the fight. And what they did to King Kenny here was really unfair. They made him try and prove a point that just wasn't true at all. And if you think this was the only time that this happened in that night, you're very wrong. This also happened against Minicon and Arms Corleone. I mean, if you didn't watch this event, I know you're going to probably listen to me and be like, oh, well, it probably was a very close fight. It could have gone either way, but let's just put it this way. Arms Corleone went out on a stretcher. And I like Arms. He's a funny guy. I mean, I don't think he's too bad at boxing. But after Minicon's performance, and he also sent him out on a stretcher, there's no way that he could have lost, because Minicon and Arms don't really have the clout of King Kenny or FaZe Temper. This fight was then even overturned. Now let's talk about the next event, Kingpin Boxing. Compared to Showstar, this event ran a lot more smoothly, which wasn't even the PBA's fault in the first fight. But again, I feel like the PBA done a lot wrong in this event. For one, being a professional boxing association, that is your name, you're professional. I'm sorry, but I don't know how you could have let Luke Bennett in the ring. I know it's all a laugh and a joke, but that is not professional at all. Luke Bennett didn't even train for this fight, and being a commission, they shouldn't even given him a license to be able to fight on this event. I mean, on top of that, I can't really remember who his opponent was, but Ginty, he won his fight against his opponent, but his opponent just got clearly robbed again. And that is the most running theme with this PBA boxing. The scoring's not on. I've got things to prove this. I'm going to show you later in the video. But yeah, this is also from the PBA's official rules. This is about matchmaking. Boxers must always be matched based on a combination of the following: weight, ability, and age. So why did Simple Simon versus Ed Matthews actually happen? Because age. Ed Matthews is like 19 and Simple Simon is 52, by the way. Let me tell you, 3 factors to make up a fight. One factor not being there, that can make it so unfair. So yeah, the PBA for one let 2 fighters with a 20-year gap fight, but yeah, we'll let them off for that. But yeah, the other factor, ability. Yes, you can say they had the same time to train, but let's be real. Ed Matthews, a chiseled, ripped young man who looks like he's been seemingly working out for all his life, fighting Simple Simon, a guy who has a dad bod, who's actually in fact been getting pissed on nights out, which isn't even an opinion, it's facts. I mean, that's what his whole career is based off of. And yeah, I mean, weight, I mean, okay, fair enough, they match up on weight. I think Ed Matthews was 75 kilograms, whereas Simple Simon was 78.5, which I mean is a bit of a weight difference, but they are in the same weight category. I do have confidence in what I'm saying, because if you saw the fight, I'll show you, it was over so quick. It could have ended up a lot worse, like a lot worse. But yeah, now let's talk about the Misfits event, and we'll start with Series 1. So much happened in this event to do with the PBA. For one, going back to the matchmaking rule, honestly, Swarms and KSI's ability difference was crazy. In my opinion, I feel like because KSI was clouted enough, PBA done it because that does get the him enough clout. Another addition to the PBA robbery series, King Kenny, the same guy that seemingly robbed FaZe Temper last time. On this event, he's now robbed FaZe Sensei, which again, let me repeat myself. It is unfair for FaZe Sensei, it's unfair for King Kenny, and it's unfair for the fans because King Kenny got wobbled in the first literally 10 seconds. The ref stopped him so quickly, honestly. It was stupid how quickly he stopped him. And yeah, the fight went on. Kenny maybe got 1 round. But no, apparently King Kenny won split decision, which I'm sure, I love Kenny, man. It was so controversial. I mean, they didn't overrule it this time. They actually tried to justify themselves instead by saying that King Kenny showed more ring generalship. He may have been working the jab, but FaZe Sensei was clearly more comfortable. He clearly was sticking to his game plan a lot better. The PBA were just digging a bigger hole. Now, KSI versus Luis Alcaraz Pineda. This seemingly was a good matchup. KSI, the newcomer, was taking on a guy with a bit more experience than him. But as the fight started, we obviously saw that Pineda didn't live up to his name and he was just getting beaten up. I'm not sure how many times he got knocked down in that fight, but it was enough for people who didn't even watch boxing to see that KSI was clearly the better boxer. But the refs, man, they should have stopped it so much sooner. Because on the PBA's official rules as well, they say that the 3 knockdown rule is normally in effect, but it can be taken away if the promotion wants it to be. But come on, you'd expect after, like, I don't know, 5 knockdowns that you'd end it, no matter how well Luis Alcaraz looks, because it's just not fair on him. Now we've got Miss Fix X Series 2. And oh, wait, they've robbed someone else. Halal Ham versus DTG. In all fairness, this fight was actually quite close. But to make it worse, DTG literally elbowed Halal Ham in the opening seconds of the fight. That didn't get brought up at all. Halal Ham didn't get asked if he needed some time. No, they just carried on with the fight. Yeah, and yeah, maybe Halal Ham lost because of that. He's literally just got elbowed in the face, but he lost after that. PBA didn't bring up the initial elbow, so if that didn't happen, and maybe if he got some time to recover, it could have gone differently. But no, I'd say DTG, he was in control. I mean, he wasn't the best boxing wise, he was giving up, but Halal Ham wasn't going for him right after that. And so yeah, Halal Ham got the win after that. I honestly don't know how that happened. Ryan Taylor was back on this event. Ryan Taylor is the guy that headbutted DK Money, and after a while, he was actually disqualified. So tell me why he was back on this event. As a fan, I understand that him and Slim was a good storyline, and it was a really good fight in the end of the day. But the PBA cannot call themselves professional if they let a guy who headbutted someone on their debut fight back in the ring for a £5,000 donation and a contract to sign that he won't do any more illegal moves. And something that I noticed, which I didn't really understand, is there's this one ref from the PBA who makes the fighters touch gloves before the fight. And if I look like a dickhead here, I will take that because I haven't done that much research on it. I'm 75% sure that fighters don't have to touch gloves. But this guy literally delayed the fight on 2 different events so the fighters would touch gloves. Just a waste of time. At the end of the day, we want to see them fight. I mean, I'm sure it can't be that important.
Shake hands! Shake hands!
Oh, referee trying to get them both back together to shake hands. That's how important this is.
Here, Rick,
and FaZe Temper wants none of it.
Shake hands! Shake hands! Back to your corners. Both hands. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back. We don't start till we come back. Shake both hands. Corners. Wait for the bell.
These referees, I'm telling you, man. Well, it's a fight. Let's go.
But yeah, oh shit, I almost forgot. The first fight, Halal Ham versus DTG, the ref didn't even show up.
Need as a referee.
Yeah, where's our...
It's kind of important, isn't
where's
it?
our stripes at? I'm like,
well, the referee is supposed to be Gareth Morris. Could we please pick up a white courtesy phone and call Gareth Morris? We are on international television.
Come on, Gareth. Listen, about 5 more minutes, I'm stepping in, Todd. You're going to have to stop me.
There was a 5-minute delay until the ref from the PBA actually showed up, which I thought was mad. Alright, so obviously I've been talking about how I think the PBA hires judges that make the most bizarre decisions that I've ever seen when it comes to fights. So to prove this isn't just a matter of my opinion, I'm going to rewatch with you and break down the first round of King Kenny versus FaZe Sensei. A round which one judge, specifically called Ken Curtis, said was a draw. And to back my point, I've got the scoring rules from the PBA website as well, official from the PBA website. And it says, 10-10 round indicates that according to the judge, both fighters showed even or equal skill and no clear winner could be determined by the judge. So let's see if that's the case.
They come running out of their corners. FaZe Sensei in the black, King Kenny in the green.
Kenny threw one jab. It's a bit even. This is in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, we've got FaZe Sensei going with that lead left hook.
Oh,
what a shot with the overhand right!
King Kenny backed up again.
And there's a standing count from the referee very early here.
Immediately, Sensei wobbles Kenny. The ref breaks in to split it up. Thinking about it, if nothing else happened in this round, if it just carried on like the first 10 seconds were, FaZe Sensei should win the round, possibly even 10-8.
So that would be scored a knockdown. What a start for Sensei.
Sensei showing that a lot of people took him a bit lightly. People thought maybe he is.
And after that, the first person that actually lands the jabs they're throwing is Sensei.
So I think that's where the prejudice came from.
He's in shape for this one.
I mean, that barely missed, but if it connected, then it was a bit of a similar punch that Sensei initially threw. People have said that Kenny's jab literally controlled this fight, but so far, Kenny has not even landed a single jab. And I know it's not all that, it's a lot of feints. I mean, he has taken center of the ring. But regardless, he's not throwing, he's not hurting Sensei.
Kenny, but a lot
more
tentative.
That does look like Kenny wobbled Sensei a bit, but I think it actually was just him losing balance. I mean, before that, I feel like people completely cancel out the fact that Sensei connected with Kenny.
Step in right hand from Faye Sensei is the punch that King Kenny needs to look out for.
Fair play, first jab that Kenny has actually landed into the fight 2 minutes into the fight. In the last minute, Kenny is getting more composed and he is actually throwing a lot more jabs, which aren't fully connecting, but he is starting to control the fight a bit more. So yeah, that was the first round of King Kenny versus Faye Sensei, which Ken Curtis said was a 10-10 draw. Obviously, it wasn't. Faye Sensei showed more skill. I don't care what the PBA say. At the end of the day, if that's what's on their official rules, if that's how they determine something, that's how they should do it in the fights. They shouldn't make up external rules just because it's crossover boxing, because they think, oh yeah, no, their fans don't watch boxing, they won't understand. Yeah, you're right. Some people don't watch a lot of boxing, but then it's unfair on the fighters who go into these fights just to get either robbed or shown a lot of unprofessional behaviour. Yeah, and let me just clarify. My main argument here is that the PBA are very hypocritical, because the rules stated on their website, which I have thoroughly read through at this point, are not how they commission the fights on these YouTube events. Like, just think about it. The PBA commissioned a fight which had the biggest age difference ever seen in boxing. 31 or 32 years. The previous record was like 19. And if KSI landed 2 more knockdowns in that fight against Luis Alcaraz Pineda, which actually isn't a lot, he would have been tied with Jack Dempsey, landing the most knockdowns ever in a fight. Like, at the end of the day, look, I don't hate the PBA. I mean, you do have to consider that maybe a lot of commissions won't even put on these big YouTube fights, so these fights should get treated like the pro fights that they put on. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's been a different kind of vibe compared to my last videos that I made, but yeah, I quite liked it. It was a pain in the ass to edit, but yeah, no, I think it was quite a good video. Comment what you think, obviously. If you totally disagree with me and can prove me wrong, I'm welcome to be proved wrong. That's just how I've seen these events. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't the only person who thought the same way as me. Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, and everything, and see you in a bit.